A king is standing beside a water channel outside Jerusalem. He is inspecting the city's water supply. That is what a man does when he expects a siege. 2 armies are marching toward him. Not the empire he lies awake fearing. His neighbors. A prophet walks out to meet him, holding a small boy by the hand. And the prophet brings an offer. Ask for a sign. Anything. As deep as the grave, as high as the sky. A blank page, signed by God. And the king says no. He says it politely. He says it in the language of piety. I will not ask. I will not put the Lord to the test. It is one of the strangest refusals in the Bible. And out of that refusal comes one of its most quoted sentences. A young woman will conceive and bear a son and call his name Immanuel. God with us. Why did Ahaz refuse? And who was the child? Let me set the board. The year is around 734 BC. The great power of the age is Assyria. Its king is Tiglath-Pileser III. He is not building a bigger raiding party. He is building an administration, provinces, governors, deportations, annual tribute, recorded on clay. The small kingdoms of the west can see it coming, and they form a coalition. Damascus, under a king named Rezin. The northern kingdom of Israel, under a king named Pekah. A united front needs the road south. It needs Judah. Judah says no. So the coalition decides to solve the problem at the source. Not by conquering Judah, by replacing its king. Isaiah records the plan in a single line. Let us go up against Judah and tear it open, and set the son of Tabeel as king in the middle of it. The son of Tabeel. Nobody knows for certain. A Judean prince on his mother's side, a courtier out of Damascus, a family from east of the Jordan. Scholars have argued all 3. I have to grade that honestly. It is unresolved. But notice what is not unresolved. Whoever he was not Ahaz's son. 2 foreign kings have chosen a replacement for David's throne. This is not a border dispute. This is a plan to end a dynasty. And that is why the Bible tells this story the way it does, because a promise was attached to that throne. The text says Ahaz's heart and the hearts of his people shook like trees in the wind. That is the moment God sends Isaiah out to find him. And the location matters. The conduit of the upper pool on the road to the launderer's field. Remember that spot. An Assyrian officer will stand on that exact ground a generation later, shouting up at the wall. Same place, different king, a very different answer. Isaiah is told to bring his son. The boy's name is really a headline. Shir-Jashub. A remnant will return, a threat and a promise folded into one child. Then the message. Be careful. Be quiet. Do not let your heart go soft. These 2 kings are not fires. They are 2 smoking stubs of firewood. Their plan will not stand. It will not happen. And then Isaiah puts the whole thing on a hinge. The Hebrew uses one verb twice, and English can just about carry it. If you will not hold on, you will not be held. Faith here is not a warm feeling. It is a policy decision. Trust the promise or trust the empire. Then comes the offer. Ask a sign from the Lord your God. Make it as deep as the grave or as high as heaven. Ahaz is invited, ordered almost, and he answers with a Bible verse. I will not ask, and I will not put the Lord to the test. On the surface, that is humility. Underneath, it is something else. Because of what we find in 2 Kings. Ahaz had already sent messengers to Tiglath-Pileser. And the wording is not casual. I am your servant and your son. Come up and save me. That is not a cry for help. That is treaty language. Servant and son is what a vassal calls his overlord in the diplomatic script of the age. Ahaz was not weighing his options when Isaiah found him. He had already chosen. The gold was already leaving the temple. So the refusal was not reverence. It was a man declining a second opinion after he had already signed. He would not ask for a sign, because a sign might have obligated him. Now the other side, and it deserves full weight. Some historians read Ahaz far more kindly. Their argument is simple and hard to dismiss. Ahaz submitted, and Judah survived. His son Hezekiah later rebelled, and Judah was nearly destroyed. By that measure, Ahaz was the realist, and Hezekiah was the gambler. That reading is honest, and I will not pretend it away, but it measures one thing only: whether the state survived the decade. The Bible is asking a different question, not whether Ahaz could save Judah, whether Ahaz believed Judah was God's to save. Isaiah's answer to the refusal begins as a complaint. Is it too small a thing for you to wear out people, that you must wear out my God as well? Then the sign is given anyway. And here is a detail that gets lost in English. The word "you" changes. Up to this point, Isaiah has been speaking to one man. Now it is plural. He is no longer talking to Ahaz. He is talking to the house of David, over the king's head, to the dynasty itself. Therefore, the Lord himself will give you a sign. The young woman is with child, and will bear a son, and will call his name Immanuel, God with us. So who is the child? Start with the word. The Hebrew word is almah. It means a young woman of marriageable age. Scholars broadly agree on that core sense, and Hebrew does have a narrower word for virgin, betulah. Isaiah did not use it here. That is the strongest argument on one side, and it deserves respect. But betulah is not airtight either. One prophet uses it of a woman mourning the husband of her youth. And when Genesis wants to be certain, it adds a second phrase to remove all doubt. So neither word settles this on its own. Anyone who tells you almah can only mean virgin is overstating. So is anyone who says it simply means a married woman. It is never clearly used for a woman known to be married. Now here is the part that surprises most viewers. Around 2 centuries before Jesus was born, Jewish scholars in Egypt translated Isaiah into Greek. And for that word, they chose parthenos, virgin. That choice is not a Christian invention. It is pre-Christian, made by Jewish translators, with no argument to win. Though the counterweight belongs here too. The same translators use that Greek word elsewhere for a girl who is clearly not one. So the word alone does not settle it. The context has to. 3 main readings exist, and each has a real case. Reading 1. The child belongs entirely to the 8th century. Isaiah's own son in the next chapter is born on a similar timetable and carries a similar warning. A child whose growing up measures out the countdown until the 2 kings are gone. Reading 2. The child is only the Messiah. The language is too large for a nursery. A few chapters later, the promised child is called Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. No 8th century baby wears that. Reading 3, and this is where most careful readers land, both. A near sign and a far one, a child born in Ahaz's lifetime, proving God's word on schedule, and a pattern that stays unfinished until it is filled to the brim. Matthew's Gospel takes it that way. Reaching the birth of Jesus, he reaches back to this verse. They shall call his name Immanuel, which means God with us. Notice what Matthew is doing. He is not saying Isaiah meant nothing in his own century. He is saying the sign finally grew into its own name. One candidate I will rule out, because the objection is old and strong. Hezekiah. It is a tidy answer. The next king, the good king, the son. But the chronology fights it. By most reckonings, Hezekiah was already born when this conversation happened. Jerome raised that objection in the 4th century, and it has never really been answered. And Isaiah never once calls Hezekiah by that name, even when Hezekiah takes center stage later in the book. So the near fulfillment stays genuinely open. That is not a weakness in the story. That is the story being careful with us. The prophecy came with a clock. Before the boy knows to refuse evil and choose good, the land of the two kings you dread will be abandoned. Assyria comes west. Damascus falls in 732 BC. Rezin is killed. And in the north, Pekah is removed. Tiglath-Pileser takes personal credit on a palace inscription. Tiglath-Pileser writes it in the first person, as those kings always did. They overthrew their king Pekah. I placed Hoshea as king over them. Within roughly 2 years, both kings Ahaz feared were gone. Less time than it takes a small child to learn right from wrong. Isaiah was right. Ahaz got exactly what he wanted. And here is what it cost him. A stone from the Assyrian palace at Kalhu lists the kings of the west who brought tribute. Ammon, Moab, Edom, the Philistine cities. And on that list, written out in full with the divine name attached, Jehoahaz of Judah, Ahaz, gold, silver, tin, iron, colored linen, the kingdom of David, itemized on an inventory. That is what he became, a line item. And Isaiah had already told him where this road ended. He will hire a razor from beyond the river. The river you hired will flood your own house. Then comes the strangest scene of the reign. Ahaz travels to Damascus to present himself to his new overlord. And while he is there, he sees an altar he likes. He sends a scale drawing home to Uriah the priest. Build it before I get back. And Uriah does. The old bronze altar of Solomon is pushed aside. Nobody ordered him to do this. Assyria wanted tribute and loyalty from a vassal, not converts. He saw the altar. He liked it. He wanted it. That is worse, and it is far more human. One more thing survives from this reign. In 2015, archaeologists sifting soil in Jerusalem found a small seal impression in the dirt, belonging to Hezekiah, son of Ahaz, king of Judah. The name of the king who would not ask for a sign is in the ground, not on his own seal, on his son's. The child's name means God with us. It was given to a king who did not want God with him. That is the ache at the center of this chapter. Ahaz was not an atheist. He kept the temple running. He used the right vocabulary. He quoted scripture at the prophet. He did not believe that God was a factor in the actual decision, so he refused the sign and received it anyway. That is the mercy hiding inside the rebuke. The sign was never really for Ahaz. It was for the house of David, for a line God had promised to keep, whether or not the man on the throne believed a word of it. 7 centuries later, a gospel writer reaches back to this exact verse. So ask the harder version of the question. Not whether you believe God can act, whether you have already made the decision and are only looking for permission. Ahaz had already sent the messengers. That is why he could not ask. Next time, we go back to the same spot, the same water channel, the same road to the launderer's field. An Assyrian officer stands there and shouts at the wall. This time, the king of Judah takes the letter, walks up to the temple, and spreads it out before the Lord. Ahaz's son. The same crisis. The opposite answer. That is where we go next.